Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Silver Screen Shenanigans podcast. My name is Devin, and the question of the day is, if you had to choose a movie that needed a sequel, which movie would that be? For me, I don't know. It was kind of tough deciding which one it was, but I would probably have to go with Hancock just to kind of see where he goes like after that movie, realizing that he can't be with her anymore and he has to stay away from her. And, he's also alone except, for her, but it's just him and her that only have these powers. So I'm curious what they kind of would do with that.
Also, he can't be near her, right?
Right. He has to stay away. Or else they both lose their powers. So, and also, what they could also do is, since they live forever, or a really long time, I don't remember, they could do something like in the future where like everybody that they once knew again is gone. I don't know. I think there's a lot of interesting avenues that they could do.
I think I got an idea. A prequel. They talked about their past race and how they all paired off and died. They could show that all happening.
But they were the last two.
Yeah.
They could do space stuff too. That man flew to the moon. So
it's true.
He did bust the moon up.
What do you mean? He just carved a heart into the moon. That's all
how
he
did
did.
Make it red? That's what I don't understand. How do you make it red?
Probably took a couple astronauts up there.
Just drug them around. Hi, my name's Jacob. My movie that I would want a sequel to, me and Devin have talked about this before. The Iron Giant.
Ooh.
I loved that movie as a kid, right? And me and Devin said they didn't need to put in that last scene where they show him putting himself together.
Yeah,
right?
no, I prefer where he. Yeah, I mean, it sounds cruel, but I prefer where he dies and sacrifices himself because I think that gives the sacrifice way more meaning.
But since they did put that scene in, they need to follow it up. If he didn't sacrifice himself, we need to see what happens after.
Oh yeah,
because he's still alive on Earth, and he's putting himself together.
That is Disney, right?
I think so. I believe so.
I don't know. Whatever. Maybe it's not because it's not on Disney Plus. I don't know.
You sure?
It could be Pixar or DreamWorks.
Yeah,
it could be.
I wish any of those companies would make sequels to movies that we actually care about instead of making sequels to movies that do not.
Did you
need
say
them.
Toy Story 5? I heard Toy Story 5. Sorry.
I don't think they should have added on to Toy Story because I feel like where they left it off, it was touching.
Yeah.
And
he let his toys go.
Yeah, that's it.
He grew up.
That's
the
it.
story was about him.
Yeah, and his toys.
He was the storyline, and then they finished the storyline, and they're like, they should go to a carnival.
I don't know how you amp it up more than all the toys are about to die in the burning pit.
They should go to a carnival.
Bro, that movie is also sad. Like that one got to me because like we grew up on Toy Story. I was like, dang.
Yeah.
But also, real quick, I found out. I think I did research on the whole Iron Giant thing when I was like really upset that they weren't ever gonna make another thing. I think this is around the time they thought about doing it again when Cloverfield and Pacific Rim were all coming out.
Yeah.
So that stuff started to get more popular.
Well, there's that, but there's already another big robot movie coming out when they were thinking about doing it, so it would have been competitive, and a lot of people would have gone to Pacific Rim.
I think the same company that made the Iron Giant made the BFG, the Big Friendly Giant.
Oh,
really?
I think so. I could be completely wrong, but
they saw that movie bomb, and they're like,
right.
I've never seen that movie.
Nobody wants friendly big guys anymore.
Oh, he wasn't exactly friendly. He was friendly.
I never watched the movie.
He got hit in the head, right? So he kind of forgot. It was amnesia.
Oh, the giant. Yeah.
And then when he got targeted at the end, he came into like this giant robot weapon.
No, it's one we could do because it's
I've never seen it.
It's a good movie.
It's pretty solid. Anyways, Riley, what's yours?
My name's Riley, and the movie that I would want a sequel of would probably be Aragon, but that's because I've never read the books. So I don't have the preset notion of this is what's supposed to happen.
Apparently, from what I've heard, the books it's a really simple story. It's kind of like Percy Jackson. It's like this. It's an easily digestible story for kids. It's just a simple adventure, but some of the stuff that they encounter, it's pretty cool, and they don't do it. They don't do a lot of the good stuff in the movie.
So I'm pretty sure that the book or the movie. So the first movie takes over book 1 through like 2.5.
Ooh,
So it goes through 2 and then into the third book already.
that's tough to tell that much story.
Yes, it really is. And
How
'Cause that
long
means
was the
that
movie?
means a lot of stuff gets cut out. It
think
was 2 hours.
2 hours, hour and a half, hour and 3/4.
That's a lot of story to tell.
I'm just saying they cut up The Hobbit and Harry Potter in the same
Mistake,
movies.
a lot of
I
mistakes.
think if they would have put more action into the movie and made like more of a storyline that you could follow and then cut it into multiple movies, I think it would have been a box office hit.
It's also tough to do. Like, that's a prime example of how it's tough to do some things in movies that they do in books. Because, like, in the books, the dragon and him talk to each other telepathically.
Right.
And to do that in the movie, like, these scenes of, like, sometimes it gets confusing on who's talking to each other.
Yeah, I agree. Emma can't be here today. She was coming down with something. So I'm gonna tell you guys what her movie is. It was Shrek. She wanted a 7th Shrek. I told her that was a bad idea, but
Oh no.
I think there's more story to tell.
We're gonna hear about this later.
oh
you
yeah,
know that?
definitely.
But we're talking about sequels to movies today because we're going to be going over Deadpool 2 from 2018, starring Ryan Reynolds. What is Cable's name? IRL.
Thanos.
Yeah,
I mean,
Thanos. Josh Brolin.
There you go.
And I feel like, what's her name? Domino?
Yeah.
I've
I
never
don't-
seen her before.
Yeah, I don't think this is probably. I haven't seen her in any movie before.
Joker.
Which
What?
which Joker? Like the she's a neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
Oh dang.
ZZ or
I got you.
check.
Bebe? Zeze?
Zay.
Cast. I got you.
Yeah, I'm looking up Domino and then it's just coming up. Yeah, Zay Beats.
Zeze Beats.
Zazie Beats.
Zazie Beats.
ZAZIE
Beats.
BEET.
I feel like those are.
Zed.
No, I get, and then Russell's there too, but like
Those are the main 3.
kind of main 3.
Julian Dennison.
Russell,
Yeah, it's Russell.
he's also in Godzilla.
He's,
He's in King Kong versus Godzilla.
he's a pretty
Really?
good
What is he?
actor for how young he looks.
He's the kid that hangs out with what's her name's character?
No idea. I've never seen Godzilla
11
movies.
from Stranger Things, whatever her name is.
I just been a while
Billy
since I've seen
Mobby,
it.
Millie Bobby Brown.
Yeah,
Billy Mobby Brown.
that the guy we're talking about is hanging out with her for the
you
majority of
serious?
King
That's
Kong
him?
versus Godzilla. Yeah.
I need to rewatch that movie.
Goodness, I don't remember him. I thought
Yeah, I
I thought
forgot
that guy
about
was
him.
bald.
No.
I might be thinking of Spider-Man. Dude, I got so many movies going through my head. Why'd they shave his head? Why'd they shave his head in Spider-Man?
Who?
Tom Holland.
No, Spider-Man's buddy.
Oh yeah,
Ned?
Yeah.
Ned.
Why'd they shave his head?
What? Not in the movies.
Okay.
I feel like he just did that.
He
in
just
real
did
life.
that IRL.
Yeah, and
Every
then-
time I see him, I'm like, this guy's bald now. He's just bald.
It's a cool look, you know.
Yeah.
Bruce Willis, Britney Spears.
we should all save shaver heads. You know?
Nope.
Nope.
No. Oh,
Can't-
I got
can't do it.
a pretty cool look. But so yeah, obviously this is the sequel, and me personally, I think it does it just a smidge better than the first one. Mainly because the first one had some budget restraints, so they couldn't go crazy like they could do, in regular Deadpool stories like in the comics. This one, they got the money now, so they kind of do whatever, and they take full advantage of the rated R.
Oh, yeah.
And
Oh,
they also talk
immediately.
about the budget later on, like a full CGI fight going
Yeah,
on.
big CGI fight coming up.
They got ain't that like really expensive to do CGI?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude. And then, as in the other movie, the opening credit scenes, they put random words.
The credits, so the opening credits, it's usually like, obviously they give credit to producers, the writers and everything, but it's the same thing in the first one where they're making fun of everybody who's in production of this movie.
So, at the beginning of the movie, does he first go out and we see him killing people, or does he go home first?
Right. I think he's out killing people.
Okay. I'm pretty sure, because he's like, I got to be home.
I think we start off with him walking around and like eating, smoking, looking at the The thing on the door.
Oh, and then he has the Wolverine statue.
Yes, the Wolverine
Yeah.
statue.
It's a reference to Logan because spoiler alert, Logan dies in that movie, and it was like
Deadpool's not very happy about
it was right before Deadpool 2 came out, and yeah, Deadpool's mad. He's like, "Oh, you died in this one," so and he pulls himself up and he's like, "I'm gonna die in this one."
Yeah, so he's sitting on the barrels, right? He's smoking. He lets the gas stove up, and he's smoking, and then he goes up lays on top of these gas barrels, flicks it while he's like talking about Logan and whatnot.
Pretty good shot. He flicks it up in the air and it lands into one of the holes.
He is a pro at
True.
marksmanship. But he goes, I bet you've always wondered what it looks like to have 12,000 gallons of lighter fluid explode or something like that, and then he explodes, and it's slow motion shot. His middle finger goes flying, and then he's talking.
F Wolverine.
He goes, I died. That's when he says, I died in this one too.
Yeah.
Then it cuts to him.
He's kind of just a contract killer now. He's just taken out. He's kind of
a merc.
He's a bad guy that cleans up worse guys.
He never quit his job.
Yeah, I feel like it's still part of the last job he had because he still had the gold card like he had beforehand.
It's just he can take on way bigger jobs now because he can't die. And the opening scene is hilarious though because he busts in through the window and he just gets shot up immediately. And he runs behind the counter and he jumps over into the bar. And he grabs the girl's cigarette and he puts it out for her. He doesn't want her smoking.
He asks for a drink as well.
Yes.
He's like, I want this, and this, and don't make me call it. What do you like?
It's got like a super like sexual name. He's like, don't make me call it that.
I know it's called this, but I don't want to say it. And before he jumped, he's like calling the guy beforehand, letting you know he is on his way. He goes, whatever they're paying you, I'll pay you more. He goes,
oh, and he says something in Spanish, and it's not even close to the translation.
So the guy is
¿Dónde está la biblioteca?
Yeah. The guy's speaking like Chinese or Japanese, some
Mandarin, I think.
Yes, it's one of
because
those.
he's okay. So
because he's over in
he goes to
Taiwan,
take out to I don't know if it's the Yakuza or some criminal underworld,
and he's like talking on the phone, and the guy
still got his Walkman playing there.
The guy in his own language says, "Whatever they're paying you, I'll pay you double," and he goes, "I don't speak that. Sorry, I do speak Spanish though. ¿Dónde está la biblioteca?" And that means I'm gonna kill all of you or something like that.
But then he also says, "I can't be paid off." So you definitely understood the guy.
And like as he's saying it in Spanish, there's subtitles that says, "Where's the library?" So it's like it's not even close to what it says.
Dude, it's that's just so good. I wish that he would do. I wish they did that more.
What's is Deadpool speaking Spanish?
Deadpool just thinking that he knows what other things are.
So then he kills everybody with the swords. He just chops everybody up.
And then we get a full montage of him going through different companies, murdering all of them.
There's a really fun scene of where this guy's running away from him in slow motion, but everything in the background is happening in real time.
Yeah. I think that's, I don't know, because everybody like who was at the same level as that guy was going in slow motion, and then as soon as they got behind him, they went in fast motion. So I don't know if it was
something goofy.
Yeah, it was something weird. What I did notice was in the middle of that, the guy was struggling to start a chainsaw over and over again. And as soon as Deadpool got there, it started immediately, and Deadpool used it on the guy.
And then I love that Deadpool gets mad that this guy that's trying to run away from death locks himself in a safe room. Deadpool's like, come on, just come out.
It's my anniversary. I gotta be somewhere.
His watch starts beeping. I gotta go.
And then this gang of just like, I don't know, 20-some goons shows up, and Deadpool runs away. And I think it's funny because he could have obviously taken out these guys. But one, I think he's just tired of it. Like, he doesn't want to do the job anymore. And yeah, he also has to get home to his anniversary. So he runs away from him and hops in Dopinder's cab, which I love that Dopinder shows up again. Like these what you would think that it would be side characters in the old movie that just wouldn't have a place in the next one. Like, no, they're here again.
He doesn't drive. So
Right. He needs the same taxi cab guy that he doesn't have to pay.
But also, he doesn't even open his door.
yeah, he goes through the window.
Flying through the window, yelling at him to go.
And then he hops up in the front seat again.
Struggles again.
It's just so good. And then he finally gets back to his apartment, and his wife
Vanessa.
is sitting there. Vanessa.
Are they married yet?
Yes.
Okay.
And they both gave each other anniversary gifts. He gave her a token from the place they went on their first date, and she gave him her, what is it?
IUD.
IUD, her birth control device. He goes, oh, an explosive device.
So they're gonna start a family.
Yeah,
Well,
so
It also started the little trend of him like being late. Like, sorry. What was the different ones? He's trying to save kids.
She's like, no.
You guys are saying I find
I'm fighting a cave vigilante where it happened to be his mother's name happened to be Martha, which is a reference to that god awful scene of Batman vs Superman.
why'd you say Martha?
He keeps giving these excuses and she just keeps going, no.
I helped a bunch of handy-capable children get out of the tree.
And then
it cuts to them talking about
naming their kid Todd.
He wants to name it one name,
and
Todd or Cher.
Also, it cuts to the scene like where they're watching the movie Yeetle or whatever, and she's singing that song.
Yeah.
That's what they're
But
talking
can you
about.
hear me? He's like, why does the song sound so familiar?
I feel like something from Frozen.
And then
Which
I
is
don't know.
another running joke through the movie.
Yeah. I don't know. He's making toaster strudels,
That's what I thought.
chimichangas. I don't know.
See, I thought they were chimichangas, but who cooks chimichangas in a
Square shape.
I really think they are.
That's the color.
toaster
That's the
strudels.
shape that
Square shape.
Chimichangas are.
Square shape chimichanga.
Well, they are also flat though. They were flat.
Yeah, I think they were toaster strudels.
Yes.
Which were good. Very good. But that I don't know. Does Deadpool have spidey sense?
I was wondering how he heard it. I was trying to. I knew.
So I
And
think
it's also a
all
thing
of
in the
his-
comics where he knows things. Like he knows things are gonna happen
Yeah.
before they happen. Like in the comics sometimes.
Is it just because of
Because
the
he
fourth
can
wall?
he can see the panels. Like it's there's an issue where he can see across the panels in the comic book.
Right, because he doesn't live in the comic
Right.
book.
He lives
Through the
Yeah.
comic book, yeah.
So like he tells like everything goes quiet and like you can hear Vanessa talking and her like voice like slowly kind of drones out and it zooms in on his face and he just tells Vanessa get down and these guys busting through the 3 or 4 guys busted and he just kills
All
3 of them.
He kills all of them, and then another guy comes in. So
he beats the first guy with a frying pan.
the guy shoots at him, but he has
shotgun.
he has a cast iron frying pan, and it stops the bullets.
I just want to say real quick on the frying pan thing. I actually watched a video of these guys shooting frying pans. They break fairly easily. Like they aren't these indestructible things that everybody makes them out to be.
Like in
Cast iron frying pans or just frying pans?
cast iron,
I was gonna-
because they are fairly thin. Like they're not like these thick.
I don't know.
I don't know. When I
Frying
first
pans I've seen, they're pretty thick.
I don't know. When I see somebody shoot a frying pan with a shotgun point blank, I'm like, but I don't know. That's the least unbelievable thing about this movie.
You guys ever seen what is it? I showed it to you last year. It was the one where the guy like he was a flipper agent, a sleeper agent. That's what he was, not a flipper agent. What even is that? He was a sleeper agent.
An
Alpha
agent
something.
It's an agent that rides dolphins.
True, but he threw up a frying pan and then shot at it, and it hit a guy like in the head.
Oh, like ricochet off it?
Yes,
Oh, that's cool.
That's pretty cool.
but that's what all I could think of when I saw the frying pan in this movie.
And so like they think they're good, and then the third guy comes in, and Deadpool throws this
Cream cheese.
cream cheese spreader,
It
and
was a good thing I didn't have to use this.
he throws it, and he just barely misses. Like it's like an inch off.
He hit the door stop, and it
Um,
went like an inch into the door stop.
Because this dude's like firing from like he's got the door for like I guess a little bit of cover. He's like firing with the gun, and he like Deadpool barely misses, and he gets the gunshot off, and it hits Vanessa, and he he runs to like comfort her, and Vanessa dies in like the opening couple scenes in the movie. And when I watched this in the theater,
10 minutes, 15 minutes.
When I watched this, I was like, I was genuinely surprised when I first watched this. I was like, oh man, they killed off Vanessa.
And that's when the opening credits roll, and it goes, wait, what just happened? Like,
Does he kill the guy first?
Yeah, he does.
Okay.
He
Yeah.
full on sprints,
Jumps
and
out the window.
busts through the window.
His superhero lands onto a car.
So impractical for the knees.
But then you see how
just doesn't care.
He can actually use his body.
Oh yeah.
Because he runs straight into a car and like hits the dude out of the other side of the car
and physically moves the car itself.
Yeah. And I think this starts the trend of, like, he says it later where like he doesn't care about anybody else except Vanessa. This is true. He doesn't even care about himself. After Vanessa's gone, he doesn't care what happens to him or anybody else.
He grabs the guy, hugs him, and then steps in front of a car. And
I
takes
think it's
them
an
both out.
ambulance.
And then we get to the opening credits, or it's like, from the production of, did they just do that?
It was like the writers, the real villains.
And then the song with like the bullet, the song matched with like Deadpool sitting on the chair with the bullets falling. It's a pretty great opening scene. I think better than the first one. As funny as the first one is of him like giving the tea bag to the guy. Don't worry, he gives the tea bag in this one too.
Yeah, the first one I think has more of a more cinematic, like it's actually part of the story.
Oh yeah.
And the second one, it's more of like a
Show.
James Bond type.
It's kind of show.
That's the vibes I was getting from it.
Like, I think this one also does a good job of, this is silly, this movie's stupid, and we know it. Let's just go with it.
He's laying sexy on his like enlarged hand of him, act like it's a gun and shooting it.
And then he goes back. He's like, "All right, now you're all caught up," and then it explodes again. And then Colossus shows up. I think
Bust down the door. Just
yeah.
Well, the door was already busted down. They shot through the door. He just walked through the door frame that was crushed.
And then you just see Wade's body pieces just littered throughout the apartment.
And he was walking him down the steps, and he goes, "You're in rough shape, Wade." And Wade goes, "Ow, ow."
I know that voice. And so like Deadpool's
just chilling out in the X-Men mansion.
He's got like almost like what you'd wear to therapy.
And he's laying in a chair like he's in therapy too.
Yeah, he's not in a good place.
Doesn't care about anything or anyone.
No.
And he also, how does he say it? He talks about there's a guy that got away from her shooting, and Colossus is like, "Wait, we will get them and we'll bring him to justice." I wish I could do his Soviet accent, but he's like, "No, you don't understand. I'm the one that got away," because he blames it. He obviously, it's not his fault, but like he blames himself because they were there for him.
Yeah, it was the guy that he let get away in the safety room.
Yeah, it's partially his fault, because if he was not a vigilante, his family would not be in danger.
Right. Yeah, so we then get to see him just messing around in the mansion. He gets Professor X's chair, starts riding around in it, and then...
No touch.
Yeah, Colossus is fed up with it, and like, what does he do?
He just grabs him and throws him. As he grabs him, he's like, "Oh, I told you I wasn't ready."
And he's also
no. As he's going around in the wheelchair, he's like, a lot of pasty old white men on these boards.
and also complaining again, like from the first movie, how they can't afford to own more like X-Men in the building.
I only see you two in here, and then you see the X-Men,
the entire team.
You see McAvoy, like the McAvoy Professor X. You see Quicksilver. You see Beast. You see.
It is a really quick shot. I can't remember.
Who's all in there.
They're all there.
But once again, it totally throws the X-Men timeline into a loop because those characters aren't supposed to be there at the same time.
Yeah.
And Colossus closes the door. Or no, they close the door.
Yeah, Beast closes the door.
Beast closes the door. And it's like, Hey, there they are. They're just chilling. It's hilarious because they just
hiding
don't
from
want to.
him.
They just don't want to deal with Deadpool. It's
Yeah, they're hiding from him, and so then it goes back to him sitting on the couch, right, with Cerebro on.
Cerebro on.
The thing they use to find missions and to find mutants that are in trouble. He has it on, and he's like, "Oh, I could feel it working." And Colossus walks in and he goes, "Hold on, I have a mission." And he's like, he's talking at the exact same time.
He's like a couple of seconds behind.
And then he breaks Cerebro.
He snaps one of the antennae.
Oh, and then we run into Negasonic Teenage Warhead again.
Yes, she looks super cool in this.
Oh yeah, definitely an upgrade.
She went from bald to having some pretty
sick
cool
hair.
And has a girlfriend.
And she has a girlfriend now.
Yukio. He's like, Deadpool goes, he's like, what the blap blap is this? and she says, since like, that's my girlfriend, you intolerant.
Beep.
Beep, beep, beep. And he's like, whoa, not judging. I just figured nobody would ever date you.
And him and Yukio have like this weird relationship.
Hi, Yukio.
He's
Hi,
just
Wade.
super nice to her.
Yeah.
That's their whole relationship. It's hi, Yukio. Hi, Wade.
And then leave.
Yeah, and then they get their mission. Their mission was to go to this kid who was having a mental breakdown at the orphanage full of mutants.
Russell.
Also known as Fire Fist.
Is that what it was?
Well, he calls himself Fire Fist.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if that was actually his name or
And
not.
Deadpool, they can't take it seriously. It's not a great name because it implies
Is it just the fist, or does it go all the way up to the elbow?
it also implies other things.
Yeah.
So yeah, they get there and it's not going well. They're not handling it well.
He has a jersey on.
Yeah, he has a trainee jersey on.
He's like, all right, guys, woo!
He cut it into a crop top.
First day as an X-Men. Trainee.
Yeah, nobody would let him live that down. He's always going to be a trainee.
Even the orphans give him crap for it.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember what Colossus says, but then Russell goes, "That's RoboCop. You stole that from RoboCop."
Deadpool. Then he's like, yeah. Deadpool joins in. So him and Russell automatically have like this. They understand each other, sort of. He's like, that was definitely from RoboCop. You can't be saying stuff like that.
And also, they're kids who were abandoned as children.
Because Wade's dad abandoned him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Why don't we really know Wade's backstory? Do y'all?
Because it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you really don't need it to know where he is now.
Yeah.
Like, all you really need to know is he was abandoned as a kid. He got his skills fighting in the special forces, and then he got his powers. Like, that's Deadpool.
Yeah. And it's not at all like the Wolverine movie.
No, it's not exact copy at all.
Yeah. So they get there. Him and Russell are talking, and he gets close enough to Russell to see like these wounds on Russell's neck, and he asks him, "Are they abusing you?"
Yeah.
And Russell like doesn't say anything, but it's kind of like a given that they are. And he goes, "Which one? Jared Fogle or something like that?" He says,
Body locks.
"Yeah." He says the Subway guy's name.
He was caught with kids.
Yeah.
I love like how that's like his go-to for like pedophiles. He said in the first movie too.
And so then he goes 4 or 5 moments. Like he cuts back to the first movie where Colossus gives him the 4 or 5 moments. That's all it takes to be a superhero speech. And then he shoots the guy. He shoots him, and then Colossus comes over and like rocks him, dude. Because he's an X-Men trainee as of now, so
you're not supposed to kill ever.
Against the rules of being an X-Men. Yeah.
And that's rule number 1. He broke rule number 1. He's like, "Wade, what's rule number 1?" And he's like, label your
fridge.
Oh man.
And it's true. Like, you probably shouldn't ever kill anybody, no matter how bad, because the whole reformed everything. But that's not Wade's way. He's got like a Punisher thing going on.
He showed up with hollow points. I should have showed up with a squirt gun.
And then like Russell shoots like the fire stuff. Well, this is before the whole Wade kills the guy thing, but like Russell shoots his fire, knocks Colossus into a bus, which it looks pretty good. Knocks Negasonic Teenage Warhead back, but she like blocks it with her powers.
Well, he keeps trying to hit Wade. He just keeps ducking.
And then later he hits Wade up into the and it's like this kid's sitting there just eating cereal while this whole thing's going on.
He signs his box, Ryan Reynolds.
He's like, "Don't worry, kid. I was in your position once, and I'm an X-Men trainee." And he signs the box with Ryan Reynolds, and it has Wolverine on it. I love it just how Hugh Jackman keeps showing up in the movies. Because they're him and Ryan Reynolds' little rivalry that they got going on.
They're really good friends in real life.
Oh,
yeah, I think so. Yeah. So then Russell gets a collar put on him.
Mm.
And
so does Deadpool.
I think this is when Deadpool shoots the guys.
Yeah, because when they're putting on the collar, he moves the collar and he sees it on his neck.
Yeah. So he shoots at the guys. He hits one of them. Two of them get away.
Colossal, he's like, I'm done with you, Wade. This is the last chance. You're going with Russell into the prison.
Yeah, they're going to the ice box.
Yeah. Which is a bunch of just really bad dudes.
It's a fully mutant prison where all of them don't have their powers anymore.
Because everybody's got the collar. Except for one.
Which doesn't make any sense to me.
Who?
Well, we'll find out later, probably because they can't get it around his neck.
Well, I feel like that's like the thing that like his powers aren't really that he has
that's
powers.
his helmet.
He's just strong, ain't he? Like that's just the part.
Right, but he's a mutant because he's so strong because we'll go get that.
Well, we'll get to the epic bowl of foreshadowing later. But so they're in this prison, and
Wade now has his cancer back.
Yep.
He gets into prison like the cell door.
Well, like you said, he always has it.
Right.
It's just his body's constantly fighting it to where it's not really a problem. But yeah, as soon as he's like, I got tumors to grow.
They get to the cell door. He goes, another mutant off the streets. Good job. And then they throw him. He thought he was free to go.
Yeah. So like, I don't know, Russell like immediately wants to like be best friends and bond with him, and he's like, they're gonna team up, and he's like, dude, no, I'm done. I just want to die. Let me go with Vanessa.
If I had my powers, we could get out of here, but I don't, so I'm gonna die.
Yeah. So like, it's a deal where like Wade is low key like depressed because like he doesn't even want to try. Like he just doesn't care. Which understandable because
Russell pulls out his
the only person he ever cared about is dead.
Yeah. And then Russell pulls out his pin
from his
prison.
I hear you rummaging around in there.
He has, yeah. So then they go down to dinner, and that's when we meet
Black Tom.
Black Tom.
Which is a white guy.
Yeah.
What's his last name? It's Black Tom something. Like he has
something
like
with an H, I think.
Yeah.
But apparently in the comics he's like a pretty crazy guy. Like he's a scary guy.
But with no powers, it's just
right.
We don't know what he can do.
He just likes to fight.
Judging on his personality, it's probably a good thing that this guy doesn't have powers.
Well, Black Tom does the thing that Russell was trying to do, pick on the biggest guy in there.
Yeah.
He goes,
you're supposed to be the baddest guy here to Deadpool. And he's like, well, not
right
anymore
because I don't have my powers.
Russell stands up.
Russell stands up and tries to shank this really tall dude, and he just gets punched over and over and over again. And so Wade and Russell get the crap beat out of him for a little bit. And they go back to their cell, and then Deadpool is like, oh, that worked. That worked swimmingly.
So Black Tom's power is he can manipulate, bond with, and project energy through plant life.
Bond with?
Yeah. So he can become like a living tree, like an int. Oh. Which is cool. Not practical.
Kind of scary for a guy who's unhinged.
Yeah,
Poison Ivy
wants to fight.
He's Poison Ivy.
Poison Ivy's a different person. Poison Ivy's Poison Ivy.
It's also a different universe.
Correct. And she does poison stuff with her hair or whatever.
I never understood. She also kisses you and you become seductive towards her.
Right. Yeah. Her whole story is confusing to me.
DC.
Yeah.
And that's where he gives the great advice when he comes back from the whole.
Yeah, he's like, dude, forget about me. I'm not your friend in here. And he's like, find somebody way bigger than me and way stronger than me.
And don't try to kill him. Become their friend.
Yeah. He's like, just think about he's like, our future in here, I'm going to be dead soon. and you're gonna be voted the softest lips in here.
And then we get the flashback for Cable, or the flash forward for Cable.
Yes.
So Cable is introduced into the show.
Played by
and
Josh Brolin.
Played by Josh Brolin.
Dude, Josh Brolin's workout routine for this movie.
Nuts. Had to have been. He's huge.
And the CGI looks really good for his arm. Like it's not like Bucky's arm where it's like it's just kind of Bucky is the Winter Soldier in Marvel. Like his arm, it kind of goes up to his shoulder and then kind of stops. Like there's kind of a defined line between like where his skin. His
works its way into his.
It's
body.
like meshed into his body. Like
which almost makes me wonder if it's practical effects mixed in with CGI.
It's possible
because it also goes up the back of his neck and into his back.
Like it could have been makeup, yeah. Which God knows how long that would have taken.
We get introduced to him, and
we see him kneeling next to these two just charred corpses, and you can only assume that this is his family. And he picks up the teddy bear that somehow didn't get burnt to a crisp.
Only half of it. Only one half of the teddy bear's crisp. Ooh, I got an idea. And he was against his daughter's body, so she was shielding it from the fire, and the part that was off
hurts.
Yeah. Also, he said it was her blood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whoops.
Whoopsie. Anyways, so it just shows him going back in time, doesn't it?
Oh, he's pissed.
And he goes back in time, and we just see all these like super big events, like you said, in history. And it looks like it's really painful to travel back. So you could probably only go back a certain amount of time before you just die.
Yeah.
And so he hits it. He yells.
Well, he also said that it's harder. The further back you go, it's harder to control
where you end up.
Yeah.
Because, when he goes back in time, he ends up in, like, middle of nowhere, like probably Kansas, it looks like.
Yeah. He comes across these two rednecks.
And I love that. You know what I love about this? Is Matt Damon is just showing up in movies. Like, he's in Thor Ragnarok in like the
what if Matt Damon's the next hero to be announced?
I'm just saying his role, like the name of his guy is Redneck 2.
Redneck 2. It's him and the gudy from
Dodgeball, the pirate guy
and
from Dodgeball.
Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
He's also in what do you call it? He's in the Transformers. You just ever see that one?
Is he really?
It's the last one with the
Bumblebee movie
Shia
LaBeouf.
Oh.
And it was the last one he was in when they had like the whole Chicago scene. And the agent guy, I can't remember his name either, from Sector 5 or 7. Whatever the agent is, they keep hitting up in the movies for like information.
Yeah.
He's like his bodyguard, and like he goes off in that Russian bar when they're trying to get the astronauts. He's in that movie.
Couldn't tell you, dude.
I haven't seen that movie.
Gave up on Transformers a long time ago.
Transformers is so good.
They're good movies. I can't ever sit down and watch them now. Like in sequential order, I suppose. So then he gets back. He's in the correct time now. So Josh Brolin.
He shows up to them. He's like, time.
Yeah.
No, he
goes,
year. He's like, what?
What are you talking about?
He just knocks him out and steals their truck.
Yeah, he doesn't even give him a chance. He goes, all right, whatever.
Yeah,
just
he doesn't
tases
give him
him.
a year.
He doesn't want to deal with them.
So he gets to his hotel room, and on the TV is the exact thing that he was there for. And it was Russell and Wade both got sent to the
Icebox.
Icebox, thank you. I was gonna say like the Mega Ice, and I'm like, that's not correct either.
Yeah, and it's a deal where it's a tough deal because like with the time travel thing, it's probably that's the farthest he could go back. Because, it'd be a lot more convenient to kill Russell when he's like a baby or something.
Yeah.
But like he probably couldn't either go back that far, and then also going here, exactly where he is. And he also doesn't have his powers, so it's probably a lot easier. It's a lot easier to kill him. And I don't know if does it just cut to him just busting into the prison?
No, it's the scene where he's at like his bedside
and he's making his gun.
He's making his gun, which he has a buttload of different guns. I don't know where he got the guns from.
I think it's all parts of his gun.
He doesn't show up with any guns. He just shows up with the fanny pack.
He does have the gun on his back from originally he had. But he has a bunch of different, like, average day, normal day guns.
He's making a gun with bunch of other guns.
Did like the Rednecks have a bunch in the back of their truck? Like, where did he get them from?
I probably just stole them.
Yeah, he probably just kept hitting people with car.
But when
He
he's
probably just went to a gun store and just knocked the guy out and stole one.
I don't know the guns he had.
Because
Like,
he also had a guitar tuner thing.
yeah, like
So
an
he
amp.
had
That was
just-
probably from the gun that he brought.
That could have been.
I guess possible.
But
And I
like,
love the thing where he turns it up to 11 because it's like I can't remember what movie it's from, but
It's Back to the
it's
Future.
it's a rock movie.
Oh.
Bill and Ted, whatever.
It's
Oh, when he said rock, I thought Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
I think it's a documentary over Motley Crue, but like I think they say in that movie something about like they're like turn it up to 11, like
It only goes to 10, right?
it only goes to 10, but turn it up to 11. It's like just keep on rocking or whatever. I love that reference where he turns it up to. He never gets to 11, but you can see the setting of 11 on it.
But yeah, so he makes a gun out of like SMGs. Like the barrel was made from like a Barrett. Like this thing is a crazy gun, and he's putting like his future stuff mixed with the old like to average.
Oh yeah, no, he can switch between a submachine gun, a rifle,
a sniper.
It looks like a bomb that he has that can shoot off from the bottom, like that explodes
force
stuff.
field gun.
A force field,
Something like that,
It
yeah.
I feel
pushes
like-
you back.
I feel like that force field's on his arm.
No, because he uses the gun to turn it.
Mm-hmm.
Because depending on what number the gun's on, that's how powerful it is.
Yeah, I do remember him turning it down all the way and it became like a normal like SMG kind
Yeah.
of thing. I don't know.
So yeah, I wonder if
That's the ammo.
the setting on it controls what he shoots.
Ooh, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like a RoboCop type thing,
And
or no, Judge Dredd type thing. My
Yeah.
bad.
I think when they go, this is where they're talking in the cell, right? Like after the fight, then it cuts to him
Yeah.
breaking in
Yes.
with the gun.
And he immediately blows up the so I don't know
He
because
blows up the tower, like the
the control center,
control center.
Yeah,
and like somehow they get out of Deadpool and Russell get out of their cell. I don't know.
I don't know because they're the only one that did not open.
Right. Then it cuts to them running out. So I don't know how they got out.
And then Cable immediately blows up their cell, and Deadpool's like, "That was our cell."
He goes, "What did I do to somebody with a gun?"
What did I do to some old effer with a Winter Soldier arm?
Yeah, and then Cable gets in front of both of them, and he goes, "Russell, I'm here for you." And Wade goes,
What?
"What? What did you do, kid?"
And then I don't know what goes on, but like he decides to start fighting.
Well, what happened was he got shot in the neck. Cable shot at him, and it hit his collar, and he saw that his collar stopped working.
It is blinking at this point.
Right. So that's when he's like, "All right, I kind of have powers now, so I'm gonna save Russell." He
But
jumps off, and
I feel like it's just, you just in general just like try to protect a kid because he was a kid. Like, what is wrong
Right.
with you trying to kill a kid?
Yeah,
And there's
So,
several scenes where he
Wade-
gets away.
Wade, that he doesn't quite have it yet.
right.
Like he,
It's not to the one scene.
yeah. So like, I mean, he's for a little bit he holds his own against Cable without any powers,
With
but
cancer.
yeah.
Keep him alive.
And then they get knocked over this railing, and Wade falls onto this table and just breaks his back in half.
And then that's when his collar comes flying off.
Yeah.
Thankfully, because he's dead otherwise. And he gets up. He's like, "Hello, powers."
Yeah, then he starts fighting Cable again. This time he has his powers, so everything Cable does doesn't matter.
Yeah, not really. I mean, it hurts him, but like it's fine.
He uses his own arm to choke Cable out.
And they get spun around, and Cable's like, "Who are you?" "I'm Batman." And then he gets his gun. He gets Cable's gun and like shoots him into another part of the prison.
The showers, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
He's like, "All right, so you're from the future. I have a couple questions. Is dubstep still a thing?"
And then Cable goes, "Dubsteps for wussies."
Oh, also, what
Wait, that's the
Sharknado we're on.
Yeah. Yeah, and then
Um,
he's like, "Dubsteps for wussies." And then Deadpool goes, "Dubstep's my favorite." And then it starts playing as they're fighting.
And then I think he says, he's like, "Why do you care about that kid?" And he's like, I don't give a crap about that kid." And Russell hears all this, and he's like, I can't remember what Deadpool said. He's like, "I don't give a crap about that kid, but I don't know.
I think it's just I don't give a crap about him, but I don't kill kids, right? Like
Yeah,
it's just
something like
wrong to
that.
kill kids in general.
Yeah.
And then he goes, "What does this do?" And he has a grenade pin.
And they go boom out the side of the prison. And
And then it's in every good hero movie, there's a moment where the hero hits rock bottom. Rock, meet bottom.
And he
Is it-
smacks
Ugh.
his head.
ugh,
Yeah, he bashes his head over a rock. and
like
then
it
falls
takes
into the
off
ocean.
like a little bit of his head when he gets up out of the water. Like half of his, or not half, but like a good chunk of his head is missing.
So this is when he goes sees Vanessa again. I don't know if we mentioned that beforehand. He's seeing her
So
in the afterlife.
every time that he dies, every time he gets super close to death, he sees Vanessa in the afterlife.
And I
But he
think
can't be
it's
with her.
like it's like I think it's like his want to be with her. It's like this want to cross over, but he can't because he has his powers. He can't die.
And then she goes, "Kids give us a chance to be better than we were."
He's like, what?
He
What?
goes,
The
And he's
kid?
like,
The kid? What?
"It's about the kid." Bing! And then he goes flying backwards out of the water and onto the ice. And then we get the cool scene where he's trying to get a superhero team together to save Russell.
X-Force.
X-Force. And so yeah, he gets back to the bar and he's talking with Weasel, played by Miller, right?
T.J. Miller.
TJ Miller. And he's like, "All right, we're going to get this team together. We're going to have lots of people and it's going to be great."
Dopinder wants to be part
Dope
of it.
Pinder wants to be part of it. And he's like, "Oh, sweet baby boy."
He's like, what's your superpower? And it's like a little pause. Courage. That's adorable.
Yeah, he's like, "Do you have enough courage to check all the napkin dispensers and make sure that there's napkins in them?"
He's like, sorry, you had to see that, Wade. Because apparently, like, he's working for
But I'm glad you
at the
did.
bar.
Yes.
So he's like the apprentice to Weasel.
Dude, that'd be sick. Dopinder takes over the bar in episode 3.
Oh yeah, because T.J. Miller isn't here anymore.
TJ Miller kind of made a mistake.
Whoopsie,
Oh.
whoopsie.
We missed the part at the very beginning. It doesn't have any significance at all, but like Wade just peeing himself at the bar because she's dead. And he's just
It's like,
in-
are you peeing? You're making that face that you're peeing.
No. Just waterfall from his seat.
And then like he falls over and he falls into Fat Gandalf.
And he says some like really mystical stuff to him, and he's
Like
like,
of how to
"All right."
get better. Or like you're depressed now, but you'll get through it. And he's like, and then he says,
He double pats him on the back and goes, "All right, no more speaking roles for you."
Flashback to them two recruiting, right?
Yes.
yeah. And we get a bunch of cool people. Terry Crews, who has electric powers.
Yeah.
He can distort electricity everywhere, including in your mind. And he's like, oh, it's basically Dave Matthews.
We got Zeitgeist, who spits up acidic vomit, and then
What do they say?
Shatter.
It's like, oh,
Shatterstar.
do you? They call him Zeitgeist. And he's like, what? Do you give info for the entire world?
You have your finger on the pulse of the. It's like, no, I spit up acidic.
He's like, I
vomit.
can prove it. No, that's fine. That's fine.
And then they
The
got
Vanisher.
well, and Vanisher was late, so he's like, "Oh, I get it. That's sick."
The
And then
Vanisher.
They couldn't see if he's there or they're not. So.
He's like, "He's probably running late." and then Shatterstar
I'm basically better than you
is an
in
alien.
everything. He's like, I wish I could go to a place where everybody was worse than me, and I could be like their Superman. He's like, Canada, you.
Shut your mouth.
And then,
Because Ryan Reynolds is from
Canadian.
Canada.
then we get Peter.
And then Peter.
The
Well, let's talk about Domino first.
I thought she came in after.
Domino.
No, she came in before Peter.
Yeah.
So then we have Domino, who her superpower is
Is luck.
luck, which is a pretty cool superpower.
Which it doesn't make sense then. And you agree with Wade that it's like, it's not a superpower. But later you'll find out it is.
Yeah.
And like, I don't care. Like when we asked about superpowers, that's my superpower. Like I'll take it back. Luck is my superpower. To have everything go right for you when you need it
You
to.
could go into a test, like a multiple. Obviously, it has to be multiple choice
Mm-hmm.
because luck's not going to help you if you don't know the answer. You go into a multiple choice test, you just start putting in the answers.
Random
All
answer.
of them are right because you're lucky.
Lucky. Go gambling all the
I was
time.
about to say I was gonna go gambling.
That would be a good one.
And also, if you're like, you're about, I mean, and it applies to like real, like if you're getting attacked, so the bad guy, whoever slips, falls on his own knife or shoots himself.
True, true. And then we meet Peter,
Who's Sugar Bear?
just a normal guy.
He's like,
He has no superpower.
Do you have any superpowers? Nope. I saw the sign and I thought it would be pretty fun to do.
Dopinder's in
You're
the
hired.
Dopinder's in the background and goes, "What the hell?"
He drops with like a bunch of beers. He's
And
just screaming back
One
there.
thing I noticed while we were watching this is every single member that gets put on the wall to the team gets stabbed with a knife, except for Domino. That gets a little nice little tack put on the wall.
that has significance later in the movie.
We find out why.
So then he goes over the
battle plan.
The battle plan with him. He's like, "Look out for Russell. He has a butt pin. He will stab you with it."
And there's this real angry guy named Cable.
He likes killing kids.
Which, thinking about it, if what happens later didn't happen, the series of unfortunate events, they all would have died from Cable anyway, I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah.
I like how like the fourth wall thing that comes on. He goes, "If we succeed, there won't be any need for the next act."
No need for a third movie.
And while this is happening, like right afterwards, like after they're doing the recruiting thing, they see that he kidnaps Weasel.
Yes.
So at the same time this plan is going down, Weasel's telling him.
Right after the plan is made,
Okay.
Weasel gets kidnapped.
And he's
And
like, "I'm not going
Cable-
to tell you anything." And then Cable, like, he looks towards him.
Cable goes, "You ever been in pain?" He's like, "Well, I stubbed my toe once." And he's like,
I was not for a day.
I'm going to bend things that aren't meant to be
"I
bent."
got a list. I'm going to go down it. Number 1, I'm going to bend something that was not meant to be bent." And Weasel goes,
I'm not
"Okay,
going to tell you anything.
I'm not going to make it to 1. You know what? I won't even make it to 1.
He's like,
I'll tell you anything you need to know. Just don't hurt me."
He's like, "I'll tell you anything you need to know except where they're going to be." Cable looks at him like menacingly. He's like, "They're on the..."
He tells him the exact thing. He's like, he tells him the plane. He goes, "Look out, there's a wind advisory." And then it cuts to the X-Force up in the airplane.
And Deadpool doesn't care about the wind advisory.
Everybody is concerned besides him.
And they jump out of and then he refers to himself. He's like, "You've been called by a higher power." He referred to himself as God.
Oh, God. And then,
That's when he names the team X-Force.
says-
Because of X-Men. He's like, "This is an outdated..."
it's not very inclusive. So he makes X-Force. And then
Which they call derivative.
They all jump.
Besides Peter, he had to like sit
And
down.
dude, Peter's perfect form. Like you see him, like his face, he's got perfect form.
And then Shatterstar's doing like little ninja things
Yeah,
flying
what
down.
the heck?
And you just see a parachute with Vanisher.
They form an X in the air, which is pretty sweet.
That's pretty sick.
With Deadpool in the middle.
It's the last cool thing that this team ever does.
Yep.
The only cool thing this team ever does.
And
then
Deadpool lands first.
And he like gets caught on a billboard.
Throws out his parachute. Goes, "Oh my goodness!"
He's like, and he looks up, and they're just like spinning all these. Like, "Look at those glorious."
So
who's the first one to eat
Electric.
The
Terry Crews.
Yeah, Terry Crews.
Smacks right into the front of a bus.
He almost landed, and then he got hit by a bus. And then the second one is Vanisher,
Yes.
who got stuck in the electrical lines.
Which is Brad Pitt.
Yeah, where it's shown to be Brad Pitt when he gets electrocuted. You can see him.
That's just a fun cameo to get Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
I think they really wanted him in the movie, and I think he just had agreed to just send a picture of himself just to put it in that one spot.
Then Shatterstar
gets
cut up by a helicopter. And then Deadpool, I guess there's one thing that I'm better at than he is. You see his ponytail just like gets smacked onto the...
And then Peter, same thing. Peter lands.
Zeitgeist.
Perfect. No, Peter lands first perfectly.
And he
lands
does it
beautifully.
beautifully.
Gets the cord off. Everything's fine. He lands. But Deadpool's like, "Let's go, yeah, baby."
Where do you go, Sugar
And
Bear?
then Zeitgeist gets thrown into a
wood
wood
chipper.
chipper. And Peter goes over to try to help him.
He perfectly like hood slides across a car, and he gets over there. "I got you, X-Force."
Just with a guy that spits up vomit, though. Like...
Yeah.
Yeah, what happens? He looks at his blood or his legs and gets sick? Or...
Well, he's being pulled apart.
So blood's gonna... And then, like, blood
Yeah,
vial.
he coughs up blood and vial up onto Peter's arm.
Just...
Rips his arm off. Peter falls down dead.
Oh, my God!
And then Zeitgeist gets run through the thing.
Or I'll throw up in my mask.
Yeah.
And the only one to make it...
And then Domino goes, "All right, I'm over the convoy. What do we do now?"
You're what?
Where's the team? And he goes,
And
we are the team. That's all. We're the only ones
Deadpool
left."
steals a moped.
Vanisher might make it, and he falls down in a heap of flames. Oh,
On
never mind.
fire, dead. Yeah.
Deadpool gets on the moped and like tries to catch up with her.
Because who would have known it's so windy? Everybody knew it was gonna be windy.
Yeah. So then we see Domino's luck, and we witness how cool it can be. He's like, there's no way I can be cinematic.
Guy tries to shoot her, his gun jams.
Cars flying everywhere.
Yeah.
He's just going on and on and on about like, he's like, it's gotta, there's no way, it's just gotta be lazy writing, a lazy power from a guy who can't draw legs, which is a reference to a guy who, in DC, who drew a bunch of DC characters that also came up with, I think, I don't know if he had a hand with Domino, but like it's referring to a guy in DC who can draw. He draws the top of people way out of proportion to their legs. So like Superman, there's a scene where Superman's chest's like super muscular, but like it goes down. Like he only draws the top of their bodies because if he draws both, it looks weird.
Yeah, they just cut off their legs or whatnot in the scene.
Goodness. Yeah. So we see that. Then Deadpool or Cable gets onto the caravan as Domino finally gets control of it,
and he's about to shoot her, and then the
mirror blinds him,
and the bullet pings and hits the brake line. So like lucky, sort of. And, you guess he didn't die, but it hit the brake line.
Yeah. So then
eventually Deadpool gets on there he fails a couple times, but he gets on there eventually.
Right, but Cable's on there. Deadpool works his way up to getting on there.
And then he does a cool thing where he cuts the bullet in half, like in the X-Men Origins Wolverine.
He cuts the bullet in half and he goes, "Oh yeah." And then Cable unloads on him and he's swinging and
swing.
It goes to a side shot where you just see the blood splurting out the back of Deadpool.
Ow. And then he needs help. So she tells Lady Luck to take the wheel, and it drives itself, I guess.
Yeah, it really does.
And so she's back there helping, and she holds her own against Cable. Like, she does really well. And then Cable shoots Black Tom. Oh my God, you shot Black Tom, you racist.
Yeah, so then Russell gets out of his cage.
Through some, like, he hacks it or whatever.
Yeah,
with his
butt pin.
Butt pin.
And he works his way over to who we find out is the biggest guy in the prison.
We just see a giant. He gets out, and then Deadpool goes, "Oh my!" And a big fist goes through the bottom of the train thing or whatever, and it just explodes onto the freeway, and it
the freeway collapses, and it's Juggernaut.
Mm-hmm.
Juggernaut is the guy who Russell made friends with, and Russell and Juggernaut are now free, and they're gonna go take out the headmaster.
The whole plan was
Russell helps Juggernaut
get
escape.
out, and then Juggernaut helps him destroy the orphanage. And then he's like, and then Deadpool's like swinging there. He's like, "Oh my goodness, Juggernaut's my favorite one. I read him in all the comic book issues. I never thought I would see this." As he runs up to me with murderous intent, he's like, "I'm gonna rip you in half now." He's like, "That's such a Juggernaut thing." Oh my God!
He rips Wade in half, and then we get the.
Where are my legs? I can't feel my legs. Oh, there they are.
So then Domino comes back.
And she's like, "Nope."
She hides from Juggernaut until Juggernaut's gone. Then she picks up Wade and carries him back home.
Like Chewbacca carrying C-3PO.
Like a backpack.
Just use my arms to tie her up.
Then we get the cool scene where we see Wade grow his legs back.
Which
Which is always really cool to see him just grow his body parts back.
His little fingers in the first one. I love that scene in the first one where he's like rubbing her face with his little fingers. Yeah. And he has bebe legs.
Yeah. So he tries to come up with another idea, right? And then
Well, he just doesn't know what to do at this point.
Yeah.
Until his best buddy Cable shows up. And they all like point guns at him, and then the blind lady has the gun pointed over that way.
Yeah.
So and then they we're kind of glossing over stuff, but they team up essentially. Cable, Domino, and Wade
promises Wade that he'll give him 30 seconds to
convince
save.
Russell. Yeah. Or else, and Cable's like, or else I'm just going to kill him.
And this is because he hasn't got the taste for killing yet.
Correct.
And so he's trying to prevent that from happening.
After his first kill, he finally gets a taste for it, and he becomes the bad guy that kills Cable's family.
But, and then, Cable knows I need to team up because they unleashed Juggernaut. And so Wade's like, all right, we can't do this alone. We need some more help. And then he goes back and he's playing on his phone a sad song to Colossus. And then, like, I love it that Wade duct taped himself all back together.
For where he got ripped apart.
So he's like, fine, don't help me. I don't care. And then so they leave and they do the really cool fight thing, and Deadpool refers to Cable as Thanos because Josh Brolin voices Thanos. And like it's not going well against Juggernaut. Like Wade gets thrown into a spike. He gets stabbed in the head again in the temple. Cable's gun gets destroyed.
In the background, we can see Juggernaut throwing Cable as Wade is stuck on the ground.
Like it knocked the first blast knocked him back, but it had to recharge or something, and then the gun broke.
He cranked it up to 11, so it finally got cranked up.
I thought it was also at 10 though. I felt like we never fully got the 11.
Right, no, he cranked it to 11 and he didn't get to shoot it.
Oh, right.
Because that's when Juggernaut grabbed it.
So we saw what 10 would do. Dang it! I wanted to see what 10 or 11 would do. But like Deadpool's like tripping again, like he's got stabbed in the head, and you see that's my favorite gag in the movie where he reaches up to like they're hugging each other.
Yeah, Colossus finally comes.
Colossus gets there and he picks up Wade, and Wade's like, "Daddy,"
just caressing his face and hugging him and just snuggling into his arms.
And then he like grabs the thing. He's like,
"You came back for me."
He's like, all right, go get him. He smacks his butt. Big CGI fight coming.
He's also talking about fighting dirty because Colossus never fights dirty.
Yeah.
So
he does. He punches. He punches. Well, he gets more
thing of metal around his hand, and then he punches him in the eyeball.
Also, there's a spike going through the middle of his fist.
That's what he. Yeah.
Then he punches him in the balls.
Eyeball with this.
No, he punches him in the balls and the other balls.
Yeah.
And then
Cable pulls, Colossus pulls down, rips his pants, and sticks some electric wire up his butt.
And then Yukio ties his legs together with her. Oh yeah, Lukio and Negasonic Teenage Warhead show up.
Yukio. Did you say? Okay, never mind.
I don't know. That's what I said.
That's what I
heard. She has like electrical chain power.
Yeah, that's really cool.
She ties him up. Yeah, he has the electric thing in his butt. And Negasonic Teenage Warhead uses her power to like knock him into the water. He's just sitting there, just getting shocked in the water. So that's what's happening outside. That's kind of how they deal with Juggernaut.
And then inside, Russell is burning the building down.
He's chasing the headmaster.
He could have killed this guy 5 times over if he really wanted to.
I think he really wanted to hear him say that blessed are the wicked who are healed by my hand.
And then he did. And then Deadpool and Cable like bust through the side.
Yeah.
Just before that though, him and Cable go ham on some pedophiles.
Yeah.
Only best buddies execute pedophiles together.
Yeah, he uses a brick.
Yeah.
Deadpool uses a brick. Cable uses a gun.
Cable has 2 guns. He goes, "Can I use one?" He goes, "No."
All right, found this brick. But they do it. It's fine. And Domino's rescuing the other orphans.
Yes.
Other orphans, and she's fighting them, and with some brutal ways. Luck helps her out, killing these pedophiles, and she's like, "I need a bus," and a bus crashes through the door.
If I'm gonna get these kids out of here, I'll need a bus or something. And then a bus crashes in and makes a slide for the kids to get out.
Through like through the fight between Colossus and Juggernaut, they threw a bus, and so Deadpool's trying to convince Russell. It doesn't go well the first time. They get thrown out into like this play area, and
then he finally gets up to Russell, and he's like talking to him.
They hug.
And then Russell goes, "I can't trust anyone."
Mm-hmm.
And he burns Wade, which we then get the gray suit, which is really cool.
Yeah, the gray and black suit.
Which is in the comics. I'm pretty sure it's his X-Force uniform, is his gray and black suit, which is a really cool callback.
I think
if that's what it is.
Yeah.
Or it could just be soot.
It's cool.
I'm just saying, if we know anything about movies, Nothing's just coincidence, right?
Right.
So they definitely meant to do that.
Especially in a movie
Deadpool
full of
movies.
references.
Yeah.
So, and then Cable's like, all right, this is it. He runs to the gun. It's pretty cool slow-mo where he
Well-
picks it up in the sand.
Wade puts on the collar. He goes, I have one more idea.
Oh,
Because
okay.
I think he was going to walk up to him and be like, if you're going to kill anybody,
Kill me.
Me be the first person.
Okay.
But we don't
But-
get a chance for that.
Right. Yeah.
So, and then,
So,
yeah, this as Russell's charging up like this flame to
Kill the headmaster.
kill the guy, the head pedophile. Cable's running to the gun, and
And
he
Wade's-
like picks it up and like sand's flying in the air. It looks pretty cool. Wade is
jumping.
with the thing on. He jumps in front of the bullet, hits him the same place as Vanessa.
Which is a really cool coincidence.
Yes.
And he says my heart was in the right place because he got shot in the heart.
It's a really messed up riddle.
Yeah. And then we have a video or we
Oh,
have a
yeah.
voice thing for you. So we'll play that right now.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Don't be. I've been trying to make this happen for a while. Yeah, please, just don't leave me. I don't want to die without an audience.
We are not going anywhere.
Oh God, no! I hope the Academy's watching. Papa, Papa, can you hear me? Papa, can you find me in the night? Before I go, sorry, I got a bit more in me. Domino, I want you to have my Adventure Time watch. It turns out that I'm the lucky one. Thank you. Hey, Sabrina the Teenage Witch. It has been a pleasure. Hi, Yukio.
Hello.
And you, Chromebone. I haven't always been the best friend to you, but you've always been that to me. So thank you. Say fuck for me. Just once. Come on, we'll do it together. It's no big deal. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Fuck. Wow. Enjoy hell, swamp mouth.
It's just
So there's I noticed, I don't know, it's insignificant because who cares what people on the internet say. But like I saw a complaint that like that scene went on for too long. Like the
it
gag
did
was
go on for 2 more minutes after that.
like the gag goes on for too long. That's the joke, that the joke goes on for too long, because that's what Deadpool he would milk his death 100%.
So my thought was that he experiences all the pain of every single thing that happens to him.
Yes.
Because none of his receivers are dulled or anything.
Right.
Dying isn't different from all of that for him. It's just he's actually going to die this time.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think that's why he talks for so long
Yeah.
while he's dying.
So, and then it's actually kind of a heartfelt scene. So then he dies.
Yeah.
Like he actually dies in this one.
He goes to Vanessa.
Him and Vanessa are finally happy together.
As they're talking, you see Cable turn around and he's just like, and he hits the thing and it goes back to,
He goes back to in the car.
Just before the fight.
and then he's rubbing, they get out of the taxi and he's rubbing Wade's chest. And he's like, all right, weirdo.
Someone swiped right.
So yeah, it's
Um,
a Tinder reference.
And then it does the fast forward on the VGS thing all the way up to where Wade gets shot again. And he's like, huh, you time travel?
It still changed the future outcome.
Yep.
So Russell realized that Wade cares about him, and
The teddy bear is not burnt still.
correct. Yeah,
Um,
but now Cable can't go back to the future.
he's like,
he
you did
was-
that for me? He's like, definitely did not do that for you. You did that
did
for me.
And he's like, "We'll flip a coin for it." It's the coin.
Heads, tails, you did that for me.
I'm not even gonna look.
So yeah, which sucks because yeah, Cable's now stuck, and he's like, I'm just gonna make sure I'm just gonna stick around and make sure you guys don't bleep the planet into oblivion.
Yeah.
Because where he came from, it was this whole cyber.
It was awful,
It was
yeah.
fallout because they ruined the whole world. So he's like trying to prevent that from happening.
Him and Cable hug. Cable stabs him in the nether regions.
I don't think he stabs him. I think he threatens. You know, like
No,
just
he
puts it
has. He goes. There's a knife in my right now.
Deadpool goes, "There's a knife," and he's like, "There's a knife in your."
Yeah.
So then it's
and then
the next scene.
Well, then they're walking out,
Oh, right.
and they're like, "Turns out the family isn't just an F word. Family is what you make of it, or something like that." And
The headmaster's still alive.
headmaster jumps out of the bushes and goes, "You dirty mutants!
You're gonna burn in hell. And
Yeah. And then Wade's like, "All right, man.
No,
hey."
we're done with this. We're gonna be better. We're not gonna. Dopinder.
Dopinder hits him with the dang car.
And then Wade's like, I barely I could keep it in. I saw you coming.
I heard the engine roaring the entire time.
And this man's jacked on it generally.
So Dopinder, I think Dopinder is gonna be a murderer.
He's
because
killed two people.
He killed what's his name in the
He
first
killed
one,
his cousin in the first one.
While he's in the trunk.
and then he killed a guy in this one.
Both with the taxi, I'm just saying.
And then
True.
they walk away as like this big dysfunctional family.
Yeah.
And like the next part is Negasonic Teenage Warhead must be a pretty good
She is
tinkerer
very
too,
intelligent.
because she fixed the time machine to where it can unlimited now.
So Wade now has the ability
That
to
is
slide through time.
I love all these characters, but that is the worst decision anyone has ever made, to give Deadpool a time machine.
I
I'm
don't
pretty
get it,
sure
though.
in the comics he has the ability to do
Oh,
so.
probably.
Because
I
I
bet.
mean, I'm pretty sure he can in the comics he can see the other panels, which is sliding through time.
Yeah.
So
Their time, I
Right.
guess.
I don't get how they didn't think of this beforehand, you know, because after the fact, they're like, what have we done? But like, while you're fixing this for him, they're like, oh, Cable's going to kill him.
right, no, yeah, they wanted Cable to murder him.
And then Yukio is like, are you sure you should have did that? And she goes, what have I done? She just gave Deadpool a time. So
First
it
thing.
shows him, what does he do?
Vanessa.
Yes, as soon as he gets it, he goes back and saves Vanessa.
He goes, hope you sharpen this.
He says, "I hope you sharpen the cream cheese spreader," and he throws it and hits.
Bravy's going to be named Cher. And the X-Men
And then,
Origins.
if I could turn back time,
He goes to X-Men Origins Wolverine, where he sees
he sees
the
Wade.
bastardized Deadpool.
Oh, it's
That swords that comes out of his forearm.
so bad.
And you just see a gun. Dude, when I saw that in the theater, I was like,
What?
because I remember like that movie being so bad, and like I was one of the only people that watched it, and I was, it's like, oh, I know what the reference. You see a gun shoot, and it shoots
And he goes, "Don't scratch. It's
that
okay.
Deadpool.
Be Wade."
He's like,
Just fixing
and he
timelines.
just boom, 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 boom.
Just unloads a full clip.
Oh yeah.
He's like, all right, see you around.
And then he goes to when Ryan Reynolds signed on to be in Green Lantern. And he's
Kills
like,
Ryan
finally, I made it in the big times. And then he kills Ryan Reynolds and he goes, whew, thank goodness
Love
for that
that.
one.
You're
So
welcome, Canada.
that, I love that. I love how
You're welcome,
confused.
Canada.
I love how confusing that is when you think about it. Because if he kills Ryan Reynolds and he never does any of the movies after that, so Ryan Reynolds never does Deadpool. so like,
So now Deadpool's in a time loop.
I have a question. Did the other Deadpool he killed, does he still have the healing abilities of Deadpool, like as like Wolverine-ish, you know?
I don't know, because in that one Wolverine cuts his head off, and that's
Right.
how that one dies.
But yeah, I don't know. Can he regrow a head?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
Who cares? Because those movies are garbage. We don't talk about it anymore.
I wish they kept the deleted scene in that we were talking about, where
Oh,
he goes and
right.
finds baby Hitler.
Yeah. So apparently there's a deleted scene where
I thought it was part of it.
he goes and he finds baby Hitler and he can't bring himself to kill him.
He's like, I'm going to change you real quick, and then I'm going to come right back with my friend Cable. He loves killing kids. So there's also a timeline where, because I 100% believe that Cable killed baby Hitler.
Oh, 100%.
Um,
Without a doubt.
So there's a timeline where Hitler doesn't exist.
But that also means that Cable knows that the watches are fixed.
That's true. So he probably goes back with his family.
Right.
Um,
All right. Well,
And then that's a movie.
that's the movie.
All right, Devin, what do you give it?
slightly. I don't know. What did I give the
I
first
think you
one?
have a 9 or an
9, 8, 9. I think this one's. I mean, it's very slight, but I think it's a little bit better just because they can do a little bit more with their budget. Seeing accurate comic book characters like Colossus come out and stuff. The story with some actually real sad scenes. It's not just a goofy, gory movie. There's some stakes. There's actually some sad, tender moments in here. The fact that him and her, get back together at the end is good. Yeah, overall, I think I'll probably bump it up just a little bit, like 9.5.
We're going to skip me right now. I just want to see where you're at, Riley. Is it still a 10 out of 10 for you?
I mean, I think I agree. This movie is a little bit better than the first one, but the first one was the first ever, So I'm gonna still have to give this one a 10 out of 10, but it's like a 10.0, and the other one was like a 10.1 and a half, like 10.5, So this is another 10 for me, just because I would watch this every day for the rest of my life.
Oh yeah,
because it's so funny.
No, it's a movie where, it's not always good if it has. Movies aren't always like 100% good if they have rewatchability, but this one it is the case.
Yeah, and it's a family movie.
It is a family movie. The first one was a love.
Family is not an F word.
Family isn't just an F word. I wonder what the next one will be. If
it was a love movie, then a family movie. Well, it was a love movie that had a little bit of horror, and then a family movie, and then the third one, I don't know.
What do you guys think?
Because they think there's gonna be a third one.
I think there is one in the making right now.
I hope so.
Because Deadpool said in the first one, let's make it a franchise.
I'm thinking I'm gonna give it like you guys. Like I'm gonna give it the same score. Like I think I did a 9 last time. Like I like this one a lot. Like you said, it has more of a budget. I can't tell which one I like more. Like Riley, I like the first one because it was the first one, the first time we ever saw Deadpool.
Yeah.
And it's not like if we like one more, the other one's bad. It's like each one are
they're both
very
good movies.
I think they're both like kind of like how like there's different like you have different favorite movies,
Right.
These are two very different movie like style wise, like because one's super sad, one's super funny, and like just
it's not like if you choose. It's not like if you choose one or the other, you're wrong. It's like
so. I don't know if I could say I like one more than the other, but this was just as good.
Yeah. Well, that's all we got for you. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, any recommendations, please let us know at
silverscreenpod
silverscreenpod@gmail.com. And thank you very much for listening.